Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Juarez and I am going to give you a quick presentation on why massively multiplayer online role-playing games are addictive. As you can see on the login screen, I have my own username and password. I hit enter and I am taken to my list of characters that I have so far set up with this game. Throughout them all, I have accumulated a total of 307.50 days through all these 7 characters. When you start in the very beginning, when you start from level 1, you have one character where you have nothing with. You start from the very beginning, you have no money, no friends, you're just thrown right into the fire. This character right here I have used for an example. Now, I'm going to go into create new character, and the first thing that you see is you can create your own type of person that you would want to be. In the World of Warcraft, there's 2 sides. There's Alliance and Horde, but for now I'm going to just be focusing on the Horde side. You can choose what type of character yours would be. You can be a Goblin, a Blood Elf, Troll, Tauren, Undead, and Orc. Now you can either choose it male or female, and whatever type of class you'd like. For example, a Warrior is a type of class that does DPS, which is known as damage per second, and it deals damage to enemies. And another, for example, like a Death Knight, is a tank, where if you're grouped up with people, they soak up all the damage, preventing any of the other players from getting hurt. Now we're going to go into Stuns and Roses, which is a level 1 character. I'm going to give you a quick example of what exactly is going to happen. Logging in originally, you're thrown into here, level 1. The first thing you're going to do is start a quest. As you can see right now, there's already currently a few people that are playing. We're gonna go ahead and accept this first quest right here. That is one person walking around right now. These 2 are 2 other peoples, and this one right here, right behind me, is another character. Let's go ahead and just give a quick example of one quest. This first quest is just to speak with a person. I successfully completed the quest, and now I need to go and slaughter 6 mottled boars. Now I'm engaged in combat at this time, and while it's slow paced at first, it eventually ends up picking up eventually. The character has their own specific set of abilities for which they could be able to take on these enemies. It starts off small with just attacking boars at the moment, but eventually as you level up, as this character is going to do it any second right now, they can go ahead and tackle on even further stronger challenges, which I will show in a later example. Our first quest is complete. Let us head back over to the quest giver that we originally got it from. Once one quest is completed, you will get gold and you'll get experience points. And in very small cases, you'll get better gear. Now, at this level, gear doesn't make too much a difference, but as you progress further in levels, you get better gear that'll help you do more damage, live longer, attack harder. In this quest, I've successfully completed what the requirements were, and I go ahead and get to pick a type of gear of my choice. Next up is another quest that I need to do, but I'm not gonna go ahead and finish this. This is just a quick example. I'm gonna go ahead and cut straight to the juicy part of this. What really makes an MMORPG so addictive. Now, my main character that I've devoted a lot of time into this character. On this one alone, I have so far put in a total of 123 days, 13 hours, and 22 minutes of gameplay time. Now, just want to make it clear that this is over a course of time. It's not starting from point A to point B. This is every time I log in, the timer starts, and every time I log out, the timer ends. Currently, at my level, I'm the highest level you can be in the World of Warcraft, which is currently level 85. And I have some of the best gear that I can get at this moment. Overall, it's taken me a total of probably about 1 month's worth of time, devoting 5 hours 3 times out of the week into raiding content. Now at this point, at this area, at this time of night, there's very little people to play, but as I go into another area, you will see the vast amount of people playing at this exact time. Immediately in the largest area so far in World of Warcraft, for the Horde side, it would be Orgrimmar. And currently there are thousands of people logged in right now that are playing. From this aerial view, you can see each one of these characters. For example, if you can follow my mouse here, all these little blue lines that you see, those are all individual people. While it won't be able to show all of them, that's just covering the tip of the iceberg. All these are people that I can interact with at any time that I'd like to. Now, I may not know most of these people, but I probably somehow down the road ended up playing with them. Now, I'm going to show you a quick example of a player versus environment scenario. If I ever wanted to just group up with random people that I don't know about and just wanted to do a dungeon real quick, I'd go ahead and find a group. Now, a dungeon queue is finally grouped up. I'm going to go ahead and enter this, and I'm going to be paired up with 4 other complete random strangers that I have never met. But yet, we're going to be working as a group to go ahead and defeat a boss. This will be one quick example. My role in this game is I'm a disc priest. I keep my group alive, and it makes me feel very important because, one, when you're doing a smaller dungeon like this, there's only 1 healer, 1 tank, as I mentioned earlier, it's a warrior, and then 3 separate DPS of any type that there would be. At this moment, I have come into a dungeon that's currently in progress, and we are advancing toward one of the bosses. The thing that has kept me wanting to play with this game is the fact that I've always felt so important. Pretty much, they cannot clear a dungeon without me being here. At any given moment, I can go ahead and just interact with these people. For example, one of the socializing aspects is I can go ahead and chat with these people anytime I'd like. Well, some people may be very talkative, others we usually be very quiet. It really depends on the type of group that you're playing with. For example, this person, otherwise known as a mage, right here, that I have highlighted, he talked to me. He says he's doing peachy fine tonight. Good example. I don't know the individual, but he responded back to me. Now, this could be anybody from God knows where in the world. In a dungeon, for example, unlike this one, it takes no more than 5 people to clear through this easily with little to no problems. My role in this game as a priest is keep everybody alive, healed, and hopefully they don't end up dying. That one individual you see there that's jumping around, he's the tank. He's supposed to soak up all the DPS that the enemies end up doing. See how nobody else is taking any damage except for him? What you saw right now is one of the quick examples of gear that drops off of enemies. Gear in this game is referred to as equipment that you can use for yourself to go ahead and kill other enemies that are probably stronger than you with much greater ease. Now, at this moment we're going to go ahead and encounter a boss. The one thing that makes boss fights very addictive is that it requires certain mechanics to successfully defeat them. Not entirely too sure what's taking these people so long, but as I said, these are other people that are probably taking care of something in life. Now, this boss is going to go ahead and die in a couple of more minutes. While this is currently older content that we may or may not need gear from, somebody might end up taking it. No one needed that piece of gear, so we just move on to the next boss. And that is just a quick example of the player versus environment section of this game. What I just showed you briefly is an example of what the player versus environment is about. Now, there's an entirely different portion of the game that's a player versus player where you're actually playing a human-controlled character, but that's further explained in the essay. Now, the small dungeon that I just showed you, think of something called a raid, where it's an accumulation of 20 or more people all striving toward one goal. This is further explained in my research essay, so please refer to that if you have any further questions. Now, I will be going a little bit over about the social aspect. I'll be using an example of a buddy of mine. As well as explained in my essay, there are many different other areas that you can go to explore the game. For example, at this current time, I'm in Orgrimmar, which is one of the many areas where most of the people end up crossing paths. Now, I'm going to go to a completely different area and show you a quick portion of what another area looks like, and as well, one of my friends that I end up playing with online. This area here is known as Deep Home. It is a completely different area that's actually underground. There's no other way to access it other than the use of portals.
What is this group for?
Now, what we see right now is that I'm in a group. Think of it like the exact same thing like with a dungeon, but I'm just using my buddy McSwiggan right here to use an example of this of the social aspect of the game. My pal McSwiggan is somebody that I have not met in real life. I've never seen him in person. I do have him added onto my Facebook account, and I voice chat with him all the time. Now, while I wait for him to go ahead and arrive over here, as I said, one of the methods of getting around is through the use of a mount, and like my character is on at the moment, it enables me to fly to different areas. It allows me to fly at a greater speed than it would take for having to walk. Now, the person you see in front of me is my buddy McSwiggan. Now, the person you see in front of me is my buddy McSwiggan. Alright, McSwiggan, do you mind go ahead and just saying hi to everybody real quick?
Give this guy an A.
Well, my buddy McSwiggan right here, he's currently on one of his alternate characters, but I've known the guy for a couple of years already. As I've stated before, I've never met the individual in person. I have him added to my Facebook, and I talk to him constantly over Ventrilo, which is a voice over internet protocol program. Now, I've played with this guy for a couple of years. We've raided, as I've told you in my previous example, and that, my friends, is just a quick, brief example of what it's like to play an MMORPG. I wish I could go into very exclusive detail about this with you, but that would require a great amount of time and effort to show you everything that would make this game very addictive for an individual willing to dive into this. Now, please refer to my research essay for any questions you have, as it goes more in depth than this video does. I appreciate you watching this, and thank you.